Welcome to a special edition of Z News. I'm Fallon Crowell.
And I'm Marissa Stiff. Tonight, the world has its eyes on America.
That's right. The 2024 election is finally here, and voters across the country will determine who will be the 47th president. Join us as we cover the events leading up to that moment.
In just a few moments, we will join Z News reporters with live updates, and we'll break down your Florida ballot throughout the night. There's a lot to discuss, so stay tuned.
Behind the scenes, a group of 50 students are working hard to bring you the latest updates and detailed information. Follow us on Instagram at ZNewsUSF and check out our website at www.znews.com to follow along throughout the evening.
The Associated Press has officially declared Florida for Trump.
Polls closed at 7, so numbers are still coming in. As we know more, we'll let you guys know.
Now, Victoria Harris joins us live from the Democratic Party's phone bank, Casa Kamala, to discuss the national election.
Hey, we're ready.
Democratic Watch Party of the Hillsborough County Democratic Hispanic Caucus. We are here watching the presidential election unfold between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. It's a very lively environment here, as you can hear. There's a lot of exciting energy in the air. There's people ringing cowbells as candidates are going up in the polls. There's food, there's decorations. Some attendees have even brought bottles of wine to share with their friends while here. Attendance overall, from what we're seeing so far, is jumping from the older Hispanic population, but the crowd is definitely continuing to grow as the night goes on. So far, Kamala is up by less than 1% in Hillsborough County, with a voter turnout of about 60% for the county as a whole. Polls are closing across the country, and people here are getting very excited to see which way this election will go. People here are also interested to see how early voting will affect the election, with over 300,000 early voters coming out in Hillsborough County alone. There are still over 2,000 mail-in ballots to count just for Hillsborough County, so we'll keep you updated as the night goes on. Here at Casa Kamala, I'm Victoria Harris.
Thank you, Victoria. Reporter Jimmy Rosilio is live with the Republican Party. Jimmy?
I'm here at the Hillsborough GOP Election Watch Party. I'm here at the Hillsborough GOP election watch party here in historic Ybor City. People are still rolling in after working polling locations earlier today. People here spent the last 3 months knocking on doors to fundraise for their parties. One person Can we switch out? Should I switch out? I should be on.
Early voting can have a big impact on the election.
This year, over 79 million Americans voted early. Sophia Reyes tells us what that means for this year's election.
Early voting provided a significant advantage, allowing more than 5 million people in the state of Florida to vote at their convenience. More than 323,000 of those voters cast their ballot early in Hillsborough County, more than 141,000 in Pasco County, and over 143,000 in Pinellas. We talked with the Pasco County Supervisor of Elections about why early voting is so important.
For us, it's every voter that votes early is sort of knocked out before election day. So it's one less potential issue, or, for example, we have a multi-page ballot, and that's a little bit unusual. Longer ballot usually equates to longer lines, and when we're seeing more in-person voting, we're encouraging voters to take advantage of early voting. That way, if you wait till election day, there could be longer lines than they want. So there's a benefit to the voter because it'll expedite their voting experience, and quite frankly, there's a benefit to our office as well that we can it'll make us look good as well. So it's a win-win.
Election officials say having an extended early voting period helps to have about 2/3 of the votes cast before Election Day, meaning that when the polls closed today, 2/3 of the votes were already counted. This also works for the public's convenience to significantly cut down on the long lines and waiting times typically seen on Election Day. Of the total number of people who voted early in Hillsborough County, More than 133,000 were Republican and just over 104,000 were Democrats. The Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections, Craig Latimer, said early voting is a positive for his county.
We are having a great turnout for early vote. I want to tell you, if you drive up and you see a line, don't get dissuaded. The lines are moving very quickly. I guarantee you won't be in line very long at all.
In Hillsborough County, I'm Sophia Reyes reporting for Z News.
Thanks, Sophia.
Now, Samantha Allen is live from the Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections office in Brandon. Samantha?
Good evening. Here we are at the Supervisor of Elections here in Hillsborough County. This is where they oversee every step of the process and they count those ballots, make sure that you get your voices heard and they hear you. So right now, what we've heard in this press conference is that early voting was completely reported, mail-in ballots are partially reported, and so are election day ballots. Those have also been partially reported. As of 7 p.m., 2,049 votes have been counted for out of about 199,000. 379 out of 448 precincts have been reported as of 8:13 p.m. with 2 more that just came in as being finished. So that's where we're at right now. Also, along with that, we know that the presidential election is going on. We know that the winner needs 270 electoral college votes. Last checked, we saw that Donald Trump had 23 and Kamala Harris had 3. So right now we are just keeping standby and seeing what exactly is going to be happening as the next couple hours roll out. We've been meeting a lot of people, the county clerks, and we've been meeting a lot of
Thanks, Samantha. The Hillsborough County State Attorney race is one to watch following the public controversy in 2022. Reporter Abby Papsadero breaks it down.
holy shit. How to talk. Forgot how to speak.
Republican Suzy Lopez is currently in office after Governor Ron DeSantis suspended Democrat Andrew Warren in 2022. Warren took the case to the Court of Appeals, and it was found his First Amendment rights were violated by DeSantis. A federal judge has not reinstated him into office, and Lopez kept the position. Warren says he wants to continue the success he saw while he was in office.
So when voters twice elected me state attorney, I took it very seriously. Crime went down 32%. I stood up for abortion rights, and we started a conviction integrity unit.
Warren's campaign website says he put his focus on being tough on violent criminals while introducing programs to help and prevent low-level criminals. He says he's running for the people.
I'm running for the values that we've been defending. Free speech, democracy, and the rule of law. The values that the governor violated when he illegally suspended me.
Suzy Lopez's campaign website says she has put in strategies and policies to prevent gun violence with a focus on career offenders. She believes she is stricter than Warren. Sheriff Chad Chronister is one of her biggest supporters.
As state attorney, Andrew Warren put criminals before victims, politics before police, and refused to enforce the law, leading to more crime and more violence.
DeSantis has yet to comment on if he would suspend Warren again if he is reelected. He did say it will work itself out. In Tampa, Abby Papsadero reporting for Z News.
Thanks, Abby. Currently, the Senate is controlled by the Democrats with 51 seats. That leaves 49 seats occupied by Republicans. 34 seats are up for grabs across this year.
One of those is the Florida seat. Voters will also be deciding whether it goes to the Republican Rick Scott or the Democrat Debbie Powell. I've got the story. Let's take a look. Candidate Mukarsel Powell says that she stands for women's rights, gun control, and stricter national security. Rick Scott says he is for less federal government interference in schools, stricter immigration policies, and abortion bans. Mukarsel Powell says women's health care would be a top priority.
As a woman, as a mom, There is nothing more important than making sure that a woman can make that decision of reproductive freedom on her own, with her family, with her doctor, free of government interference.
Rick Scott's campaign website says this about abortion, quote, "Facts are facts, the earth is round, the sun is hot, and there are two genders, and abortion stops a beating heart." The two candidates both agree they need to fight for the safety of children in the school system, but have different priorities. Mukhtar Saw Powell puts gun violence at the top of the list, whereas Rick Scott wants to prioritize curriculum. Senator Rick Scott was elected into U.S. Senate in 2018. Prior, he served 2 terms as the 45th governor of Florida. Mukhtar Saw Powell served in the U.S. House representing Florida's 26th congressional district from 2019 to 2021.
It's up here.
We have an update on the state attorney race with Abby Popsidero. Yes? Okay. Why are they not telling us?
Susie Lopez is currently in the lead up against her opponent, Andrew Warren, with 52.72% of the votes.
Republican Party to tell us more about incumbent Rick Scott. Malia? We're going to hear from Mary Armstrong, who's live at the Democratic Party. Mary.
Hello, we are here at Casa Kamala at the Hillsborough County Democratic Hispanic Caucus. The
The atmosphere is amping up as the crowd celebrates the triumphs of the Democratic Party with cheering, cowbells, Hispanic music, and just positive vibes all around. Now, tonight isn't just for the popular presidential election. It's also a huge night for Florida statewide elections. In the Florida Senate race, Democratic Carson Powell faced Republican Scott. Just in from the AP, Rick Scott has won this election for Senate. Additionally, Susan Valdez is up for re-election as the Democratic candidate for State Representative District 64. She faced Republican candidate Mara Cruz Lance. Now, Valdez is actually in the building with us tonight. She gave us a speech earlier. She was dancing around, having a great time, just really supportive of the environment, and the crowd absolutely supported her. Looking around, people are excited. They're up here dancing, playing music, cheering, and the crowd just keeps growing as the night goes on. We'll keep you updated with more updates as the night goes on. Back to you.
Thanks, Mary. Coming up, we'll be with the live at the watch parties for District 14's house.
Plus, we'll break down the amendments on your Florida ballot. We have an update on the 14th District U.S. House race. We want to go live to Tatiana Purefoy at Kathy Castor's party. Tatiana?
Now with a fresh mandate, she is ready to continue that work in Washington. Congratulations again to Congresswoman Castor and her team.
There are multiple amendments on the Florida ballot this year.
The first amendment is the partisan school board member amendment. Here's what you need to know. Amendment 1 is labeled Establishing School Board Elections as Partisan. It focuses on the political parties of people running for school board. A vote yes on this amendment would make school board races partisan, making candidates declare which political party they are affiliated with before the election. A no vote would keep the races nonpartisan. If the amendment passes, it would apply to races held on or after November 2026. It would also reverse the vote from 1998 to keep school board elections nonpartisan.
Amendment 2 addresses hunting and fishing in the state. Reporter Jimmy Rosilio takes a closer look.
Begs the question, why now? Amendment 2, titled Right to Fish and Hunt, would protect fishing and hunting in Florida's Constitution and declare them as the preferred ways of managing wildlife. The inclusion comes after around a dozen states considered bans in 2022. In Florida, however, existing laws already protect these activities. The amendment also defends the use of what it calls traditional methods. The Florida Department of State reports that donations in favor of the bill exceed the opposition by a margin of roughly 1.2 million to around 100,000. Grassroots conservation organization Sierra Club gave the majority of the money against the bill. Chapter Director Susanna Randolph says the language fails to define exactly what traditional methods are.
Could somebody come to a court and say, 100 years ago when my forefathers were here, we did dog pack hunting on bears, which is one of the most unbelievably cruel, horrific things you've ever seen. They could say that's traditional means.
The potential return of gill netting also concerns opponents of the amendment. The strategy proves so effective that it is regulated for fear of overfishing. According to Open Secrets, those who gave money in favor of Amendment 2 include Florida Fish and Wildlife as well as private donors. Captain Dylan Hubbard of Hubbard Marina took to social media to tell his followers to vote yes. He says it's never too early to protect your rights.
You installed locks on your house, right? This is the same idea. You don't wait until your house gets robbed to install locks on your front door. Let's install a lock on the front door of hunting and fishing.
There are currently no proposals to limit hunting and fishing in Florida. In Tampa, Jimmy Rosilio reporting for Z News.
There has been a lot of talk about Amendment 3, but what does it actually mean to vote yes or no on the ballot this election season? The amendment is titled Adult Personal Use of Marijuana, and a vote yes would allow for Floridians and tourists 21 years of age and older to purchase, use, and possess up to 3 ounces of cannabis. A vote no would continue the current law in place of allowing only medical marijuana usage while maintaining criminal penalties.
Amendment 4 tackles the topic of abortion and can be a little bit confusing on the verbiage. It's titled Amendment to Limit Government Interference with Abortion. The amendment says no law shall prohibit, penalize, delay, or restrict abortion before viability or when necessary to protect the patient's health as determined by the healthcare provider. The amendment states that it does not change current requirements for parent-approved minors seeking an abortion. A yes vote supports adding these protections to the state constitution, and a no vote leaves the current framework in place.
Here's what homeowners in Florida should know about Amendment 5. This amendment proposes a change to Florida's fixed homestead exemptions. A yes vote would require the value of exemptions to be adjusted annually according to inflation. This would potentially protect homeowners from rising prices, diminishing their exemptions. A no vote would keep the current law in place, maintaining a fixed value for homestead exemptions. This would protect the government from experiencing a decrease in tax revenue in the coming years.
Amendment 6 deals with campaign financing. Reporter Carter Timmons explains why this amendment in history and why it's important.
This program has enabled middle-class candidates of both parties to compete and to succeed in statewide elections in the state of Florida. That was true in 1998, that was true in 2010, that is true this year in 2024.
The last time that this amendment was challenged to be repealed was in 2010. It won the majority vote, but was not repealed because it did not meet Florida's 60% supermajority vote. To learn more about this amendment and every other Florida amendment on the ballot box this season, go to www.usfznews.com. Reporting for USFZ News, I'm Carter Timmons.
To wrap up our amendment coverage, in-house reporter Abby Papsadero is live with an update.
All right, an update on which amendments have passed and failed. Looking at Amendment 2, it has officially passed. The coveted Amendment 3 has failed, legalizing marijuana. And then the controversial Amendment 4 has also failed, limiting government interference with abortion. And then Amendment 5 has passed as well. Back to you guys.
The school tax referendum is also on the ballot for Hillsborough County. Luciana Cordero tells us about what it means.
The school tax or millage referendum is a property tax of $1 per thousand of assessed taxable value.
This tax is expected to make over $170 million per year and will be mostly used to increase the pay for K-12 teachers and staff. The Hillsborough County School Board Vice Chair Jessica Vaughn says the district wants to offer competitive pay compared to surrounding counties to retain and recruit staff.
So if you noticed, almost every single one of our counties that surround Hillsborough County, as well as ones that are the size and scope like Miami-Dade or Broward or Orange County, they've all unfortunately had to go out for an additional millage.
This might sound familiar. Hillsborough County Public Schools proposed a similar referendum in August 2022, but it was turned down by voters. The school board once again added it to this year's general election ballot, hoping it would pass this time.
It's important to recognize that this is not about whether or not you as an individual support the millage. It is about, do you believe in empowering our citizens to have the right to use their voice, to use their vote?
However, the county commissioners tried to push it to the 2026 ballot. But in August, a court ruled that the school board had the authority to put the referendum on this year's ballot.
If passed, the school tax would be in effect from July 1st, 2025 to June.
Hillsborough County voters.
That's right. Should the half-cent sales tax funding school infrastructure be renewed? Samantha Allen explains what's at stake for students, teachers, and the community.
Right now, Hillsborough County schools are relying on the half-cent sales tax, also known as the community investment tax, for much-needed repairs and upgrades. If the vote passes, the Hillsborough County School District would keep receiving funds for essential projects. That means improvements like replacing broken HVAC systems, fixing old roofs, and enhancing security systems in schools. Former Hillsborough County Superintendent Addison Davis emphasized the importance in a 2018 interview.
These are projects that matter the most to make certain that children have the greatest infrastructure in an effort to be successful.
If the vote doesn't pass to renew the existing half-cent community investment sales tax, infrastructure funding will not be shared. District 7 School Board member Lynn Gray highlights the financial challenges.
Understand the realities of the millage may or may not happen. We don't have a CFO, to Member Washington's point. We do have a lessening of the CIT tax by 20%. We do have hurricanes, which goes into the federal, into the emergency fund balance. So those are variables that for us to say, yes, in November or December, 2026, let's switch. I think we need more time.
With the half-cent tax in place, schools won't just be maintained, they'll have the potential to be modernized. With Election Day coming to an end, make sure you get your voices heard. In Tampa, I'm Samantha Allen reporting for Z News.
VTC audio up.
When it comes to the U.S. presidential election, the Electoral College method is used. Melissa Baldelamar explains how the system works.
Now let's turn back to our live reporters to see if there are any updates.
Victoria joins us live at the Democratic Party.
Of the Hillsborough County Democratic Hispanic Caucus. We're here watching the votes for the 2024 presidential election coming between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The crowd has grown over the course of the night, and the energy is definitely growing with it. It is an extremely lively, energetic, and hopeful environment, full of people expressing their genuine passion for our country, as well as spending genuine time with their fellow Hillsborough County community. The room is also covered in bright decorations and posters handmade by people here expressing support for both Amendment 3 and 4. Different representatives of both the Democratic Party as well as Casa Kamala have addressed the crowd several times tonight, expressing their genuine gratitude for those who have come out tonight as well as those who have volunteered throughout the entire election process. They're also expressing their support for both Kamala and other Democratic candidates up for election this year. It is still far too early to tell, as Florida has just been called in favor of Trump. There are still many states and many votes left to count. That's all here at Casa Kamala. Thank you. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Victoria.
Behind the scenes, here's another look at the group of 50 students who have been working hard to bring you the latest updates and detailed information. For even more information, follow us on Instagram at ZNewsUSF or check out our website at www.usfznews.com as we approach the end of our broadcast.
Now we have an update from Samantha Allen, live at Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections office. Samantha?
we just heard is that 427 out of the 448 precincts have been reported. Election day of election and mail-in ballots are still partially being reported, but the early is still completed. So what we have right now is that Donald Trump is about 50% of Hillsborough County, while Kamala Harris is at that 47% range, with the U.S. Senate race leading in the same direction. Rick Scott is at that 50% range, while Debbie Powell is at that 47%. Also, what we've heard so far is that the half-cent sales tax is being renewed. With that, also, is the amendments 2 and 5 have passed. 1, 3, 4, and 6 have failed. As we continue being here, I'm glad that you guys have stayed in touch and you guys have been able to stay up to date with that live election coverage that we are doing for you tonight. We are still out here trying to get those last few precincts to get theirs in. We got just 21 more to go before we are officially done with all of our precinct coverage. We're hoping that we will get results by the next hour, but there's no guarantee because there is still people in line, and once you're in line, when that voting is closed, you are still allowed to vote. And we've heard that 2 out of the remaining precincts still have people inside of the building voting. Along with that, we have just kind of been hanging out, been seeing what exactly the votes are going in for, and we're seeing a live update of all of Hillsborough County. With that being said, it's been great being here and being this reporter for the live coverage out here, and I can't wait to see what else is in store.
Thanks, Samantha.
Let's hear from our in-house reporter, Abby Papsadero, for an update on the state attorney race. Abby?
Some updates from Jimmy at the Republican Party in Ybor. He talked to some of the people there, and they said they had been fundraising for about 3 months in support. Other people had said they had made over 900 phone calls to get support for their party as well. There was a lot of confidence for both Scott and Trump today, but a lot more confidence for Scott. The atmosphere there is very mellow now as Trump has taken Florida, and they feel like Trump is taking the win tonight. That's all. Thank you.
Wait, what?
Don't say opponent.
Party to tell us about the opponent, Debbie Powell. Mary?
Thanks, Mary. Let's toss it back to our in-house reporter, Abby Papsadero.
Some more updates on things that have passed. The half-cent community investment tax has passed, and the Hillsborough County School Board school referendum to boost school supplies and staff salaries has also passed. That's all. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Abby. That wraps up our live election coverage for the 2024 election. For more updates after the broadcast, follow our Instagram at ZNewsUSF, our website at www.znewsusf.com, and our TikTok at USFZNews.
Over the last hour, we have broken down your ballot as we await results for the future of our country and our state.
That's all for this special edition of Z News.
We'll see you tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. on WEDQ. Thanks for watching.